Shout out BruceGas, aka Toka 2. You know I had to drop a track for my boy. Yeah, been in your rapping boys out here telling favors. I'm the hardest young nigga, I ain't signed to no label. Hey, BruceGas pushing up fights on the table. Calling that boxing since Kane versus Abel. Smoking so much gas, you would think that shit was fake. All the people champion like Muhammad Ali. Shut up, BruceGas. One day we gon' meet. Yeah, we gon' blow it down. We gon' smoke hella weed. Yeah, we gon' blow it down. Take a hit out the Toka 2. Slipping hella shots, but like Tyson with the people. Little Glock on my side, but it hit the vibe. Shout out mad chat, real shit. That's my fucking dude. We all fucking on the panel. Strapped to my side, I ain't talking about no sandal. Bruce packs me the blunt, I'ma light it like a candle. Hey, non-stop bars, man, I always spit flames. Feel like Bruce Gas always got a different strain. Bitch, you ain't like me, you can never feel my pain. You win and you lose, well, this a fight game. Don't beef on the net and the shit won't change. Said that on the stream, you gotta do it for the game. Said that on the stream, you gotta do it for the chat. I ain't undisputed. Yeah, hold on, I ain't undisputed, but I want all the straps.
Good evening. Excuse me. BruceGas, boxing, jazz, and more. The jazz we're listening to in the background right now, that's the Saul Douche Quartet. Saul Douche Quartet. That's live at Smalls Jazz Club in Greenwich Village, featuring Saul Douche on baritone sax, Noel Helpman on the trumpet, Kalen Cardillo on the piano, Louis Liger on bass, and Hank Allen Barfield on the drums. It's just some of the boys from Smalls Jazz Club. Give us a little background action here. And I got a friend of mine who came on a couple of weeks ago. We started talking some boxing, and he told me he'd come back again last week. Last week his wife was a little ill, so he postponed to this week, and I'm lucky to have him on here, man. This is a boxing insider. We had a lot of action yesterday happening in boxing, and a lot of things that are right and wrong with boxing. This guy knows what's going on in boxing. So here's Rick Glaser. Rick, how are we doing tonight, brother?
Good, Bruce. Glad to be back on your show, and apologies to you for last week, but yeah, the wife was a little under the weather, and I was, all paying attention to the wife,
I hear you, bro. No apologies necessary. In fact, tonight I was going to have my buddy George Jakovic. Did you know George?
He used to work at HBO, didn't he?
Exactly. He was a producer with HBO. I've known George for a couple of years, and we've done a lot of shows together. And he was going to come on today. He had a couple of questions, and George called me up, and he got the flu. So
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but he's a tough young guy, man. Tough young guy. He's doing work with pro boxing right now, and a real cool guy. Hey, let's talk about yesterday.
Bruce, could you turn off the music? I can barely hear you with the music on. There you go. There you go. Thanks. Okay. Yep.
Man, no problem, bro. No problem, man. I keep it on to keep myself bopping, but talking to you, I'm sure I'll stay bopping, bro.
Thank you.
No problem. Hey, what did you think of Zhang and Joyce yesterday, man? I thought that was a real interesting, real entertaining.
Well, when you saw the first fight, this was the rematch, of course. When you saw the first fight back in April, you saw how much faster Zhang was than Joyce. Joyce's eye blew up. They stopped the fight. And this was a case of, could Joyce make the adjustments to win? I had said no, he couldn't. I put it up on Facebook and Twitter and all that. And it was on several podcasts, and said no. It'll be the same fight all over again, probably end quicker this time. And that's what happened. He caught him with one good shot. But Joyce's shot, he had a great chin, but now he's got no punch resistance at all. And that was not because of the knockout. It was because in the second round, the knockout was in the third round. In the second round, he got wobbled twice with jabs. He was badly hurt with jabs. So his chin is gone. I mean, the punch resistance is totally, gonzo. He's shot. I don't think he should be fighting anymore.
Yeah, I saw a lot of similarities with Adam Kalinowski there.
Right.
An up and coming guy, and he ran into the insurmountable wall. And where does he go now? Does he come and do like Adam did and take on a Joe Kalinowski or
No, I think the game is over. I just don't think that he's going to be. I think he's a shell of his old self, and it's over. And this happens to you. This is what happened to Earl Spence with Crawford, where he'll never be the same again. He got the shit beat out of him for 9 rounds, and I don't know what would change in the rematch. The 7 pounds that Spence wants is not going to make the difference in the fight. Okay, it's just not. Could it help him 5%, 7%? Yeah, but it's not going to help him win the fight. No. He will not win Spence won't win the fight if they do fight. And that's all there is to it. When you're gone, you're gone. I mean, it's all there is to it. You got no punch resistance. Joe Joyce, Earl's going to have no punch resistance because he got tortured.
That's like an overnight, like a switch with Joe Joyce. Joe was the immovable object. He was the guy who said,
that's what happened. You take so many punches and you can't take anymore. That's just what happened to him. You said it right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's called growing old overnight. That's what they call that.
Yeah, it's when experience turns to old age. Like that, brother. Hey, let me shout out who came in here, man. I appreciate it. We've been. My channel's been blowing up lately, Rick, man. I got over 200 subs this week, man. I hit that magical 1,000 mark. I covered bare knuckle boxing with my friend Skywalker on Friday night. We just blew up the internet. We had several thousand people on our broadcast. So I want to thank people that came in here, man, because otherwise it would be me and you just talking on the phone. So G Funky, salute to my brother, first one in here. That guy Bones, thanks for coming by, bro. Garcia, thank you, my man. Teach. Thanks for coming by. Laron, I appreciate it, brother. Let's see, we got that guy Bones, and that guy. We got all kind of crazy names on the internet here tonight. But thank you so much, guys, for coming in. Now, Rick, on the other side of the spectrum, Zhang. This guy's the hottest thing on the internet right now. What are we gonna do with him?
Well, I think they should do the smart thing, and if Tyson Fury doesn't fight Usyk, this guy should step in and fight Usyk. That's all there is to it. That would make the most amount of sense to me.
And you think they'll move him fast, or do you think this is gonna?
He's there. He's there now. There's no more moving. He's there now. He's right in the thick of things.
He's 40 years old, and it's shit'll get off the pot. But right. I'd like to fight Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury might be.
Tyson Fury won't fight him. He's got the things that Tyson Fury does well, so does this guy. Tall, good jab, high ring IQ. Tyson Fury won't fight him.
Hey, Louis Tucciarelli's in the chat room. Shout out to Turch.
Yes, sir. Definitely shout out to Louis. There's no question.
Peace, man. All right, man. I'm intrigued by heavyweight boxing. I can see all kind of things that they can do with Zhang. But the thing is he got the right people behind him? Is he got the right connections?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's no shortcomings there. He'll do just fine.
All right, man. How about the other fights on the card? I know Anthony Yah. That was a slaughterhouse. But there was another kid on the card. Go ahead, man.
Yard was fighting a short notice opponent, a short notice replacement guy. So that you weren't going to get too much. You know what I mean? You didn't expect to get too much.
I was impressed by the kid Pierce O'Leary on the card. Did you see him?
I didn't see him the other night, but I've seen him before. He's pretty good. Not bad.
No, not bad at all. And then we had the on the other on the zone at night, Richardson Hitchings and Zapata. What do you think of Hitchings?
I wrote on social media that he is very good, a very good boxer, very technical, very good technical skills, fast of hand, high ring IQ, and he's not exciting, and he's not a one punch get you out of there guy, but he'll beat a lot of guys. He'll be a world champ. He could be a world champ. He's a good complete fighter.
Is he? Now, last time you were here, you told me you were going to talk about the things that are right with boxing and things that are wrong with boxing. Was what we saw yesterday right with boxing, or wrong with?
The fact that in that woman's fight, that one woman, Sandy Ryan, got, I didn't see the fight, but everybody can't be wrong. Everybody said that she got stone robbed. They called it a draw. That's what's wrong with boxing. This is something that everybody says, well, it's this, it's that, bad decisions. But why do the bad decisions always favor the house fighter? They never favor the opponent. It's always one way. So when a referee stops a fight too quick, it's for the house fighter. Okay, if the judges have the scoring wrong, it's always in favor of the house fighter. It's never in favor of the opponent. Did you ever notice that, Bruce?
Well, I mean, that's pretty much that's been like that forever.
Well, that's a problem, isn't it?
But it's always been, boxing's always had the element of corruptness in there. Whenever three people have to tell us who wins a contest, that we witness the whole event, and we have to wait till three judges tell us who gets their hand raised in victory. That kind of puts an element where the end can be tampered with. It can be manipulated. It can be paid for.
I watched plenty of fights. I watched plenty of fights in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. In the early 2000s, I never saw this problem to anywhere to this extent. So it's worse now than it's ever been.
Well, Marvin Hagler had the answer for that. You remember the bum-ass decisions he was getting in Vegas. He said after Vito Antuofermo, he said, "I'm not going to leave it into the judges' hands anymore." And that's
but not many people can carry that off. They can say it, but they can't carry it off. He could carry it off. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't have to come to that. They should be fair decisions for everybody. It's ridiculous. It really, really is ridiculous. Very, very ridiculous. I had a fighter in an 8-round fight. This is in the early 2010s. I had a fighter in an 8-round fight. He scored he was the opponent against the house fighter. He scored 3 knockdowns in 3 separate rounds, and an 8-rounder won by 1 point. I mean, it's ridiculous.
No, I've seen a million of them myself. That's why the knockout is so vital in boxing today. That heavy punch, whether you knock them out or not, but to hurt your opponent. To give him the stanky leg, because guys like Haney and Shakur Stevens, they're not in demand for that reason, man.
Yep, I know. That's why William Zepeda is very popular and going to become more popular because he's a knockout puncher. The kid from Mexico and L.A. Yep, in Southern California. Yep.
Very impressive last week. Let me thank a few more people who jumped in here, man. Let's see. I see my buddy Big Texas, man. SLAB Life ATX. Shout out to you, brother. I see Teaching here in the building. Thomas from the Bronx, man. Shout out to you. Let's see. Anybody else come in? I don't want to miss anybody. The Bud Files, man. Salute to you, my friend. It's just it's an awesome thing being able to get the word out here to the layman in boxing. I dare I call them, but it's great to have a platform where we can get opposing views, whatever they may be. But I respect you. I respect your opinion greatly, Rick. That's why, and I appreciate you coming on here.
Thank you,
Tyrese Bowie. Thank you for coming in here. Is that right? Is it Bowie? And JD, man, thank you, cats, for coming in here. I'm talking to Rick Glaser, a guy that's got over 50 years, 30 years in
32. Don't make me older than I am, Bruce. 32 years in boxing.
32 in the business of boxing, 50 years behind the scene, 50 years in the game as a fan, man. He was watching Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali back in 1971, bro.
It's,
And,
I went to the closed circuit version. Absolutely. No question.
I mean, it's such a great sport. And you know today's the anniversary of, Rick. Tell me if you remember this fight. I mean, you definitely remember it, but it was one of those oh shit fights. That's when the Oliver McCall knocked out Lennox Lewis in the second round.
Yeah. That was like September of 1994. Remember it well.
It was exactly 29 years ago from today, I guess. Huh?
Yep. It was one of a kind. Yeah. Then the rematch, Oliver McCall started crying.
I mean, these are things that we tell other people that to see that happen. You can watch it on YouTube and stuff, but to see it go down live, to see Oliver McCall actually have a nervous breakdown in the ring like that was like so bizarre.
It was bizarre watching it happen. I was like, I couldn't even believe it. You know,
I couldn't believe it. I was expecting big things because remember Oliver McCall beat Larry Holmes when Larry was making a comeback and doing pretty well. I thought Larry was going to be a world champion again, and then the crack pipe that's taken down many athletes, especially in the 80s and in the early 90s. The scourge of boxing. Iceman, thank you for coming by, and Med Gas guy, salute to you, brother. I just like to talk to you, Rick. I don't have any questions written down. I never do when I bring interviews. I just like to let it roll from the heart, man. Anthony W, thanks for coming by, man. We're talking to Rick Glaser. So Rick, what do you see for the future of boxing? Is it going to get better, man? Is it going to turn into something where it's going to be fan friendly again? I mean,
if all the big promoters get together, and they start doing more matches that will be better for boxing rather than their own pockets, where their fighters are at risk of winning and losing, boxing will go back to what it was at one time and become strong, and fair decisions. I mean, some of these decisions are atrocious. It's just terrible. I mean, it's not corruption. Nobody's paying anybody off. It's just that they always vote for the house fighter because, they want to be highly recommended by the what do you call it, to other promoters. Oh, use this guy. Oh, use this guy. Because he did them a favor and they scored it for his fighter. I mean, it's just a fucking joke. It really is at times. It's very, very frustrating. Let me put it that way to you.
But how is it going to change? Is there any way to do it? Do we need a federal boxing commission?
No, the TV networks have to put their foot down. They're not. They have the power to do it, and they don't do anything about it. And they need to do something about it. That's all there is to it. They really, really need to do something about it. The TV networks need to band together and make these promoters work together. Okay, and that's just the way it is. So, they have the control. The TV networks have the control. They can do it, but they're not strong enough to do it. So
let me shout out to Oscar
right there.
Let me shout out to Oscar Prince, El Pinche, the Boxing Scholar, Iceman, MMA for Fun, and Susanna, that single mom. Salute. Thank you so much for coming in here. I'm talking to Rick Glaser about the current state of boxing, which doesn't really look very optimistic.
We're in the process of losing Showtime. They won't be doing boxing anymore. That'll be at the end of the year. They're just going to fade away, and they're done. And Al Heyman ruined another network, and just like he ruined Fox, they don't want to hear about boxing because of Al Heyman. You can't. These companies are getting overcharged for some of these fights, and you can't do that. Everything's got to be fiscally responsible. And these promoters, as Heyman, he's not fiscally responsible to the networks. He tries to get as much money as he can for the fighters under certain circumstances, and it's not good for the sport. You can't overpay the talent. I know it's a terrible thing to say, but that's what reality is. And they overpay the talent, and the TVs run away. TV networks run away. So you got to have a happy balance.
Shout out to JD. He's got a question in there, a statement maybe. It says, sometimes it feels to a promoter that the judges sometimes it feels like a promoter is giving the judges a bag to score the fight in their boxer's way.
No, that's not happening. That's not happening. That's all conjecture by fans. What's happening is they're favoring the house fighter because that promoter will recommend, oh, use this guy, use this guy to another promoter for a world title fighter and eliminator. That's how it happens. So
shout out to you, Charles. Thank you for coming by, man. I mean, boxing is it's always been a game that's been run by had a shady element running it, and it seemed like in the 70s and the 80s it became more open. It became more of a corporate sport. But now it's almost like the white collar mob, the white collar.
Yeah, basically speaking, with some of the results, you think so. It's not supposed to be like that. I mean, it's ridiculous. It really, really is ridiculous.
But now with all this money and as far advanced as boxing goes, with everything being dumped into it, why can't they get some kind of a organized labor? I'm going to say something to give the fighters a pension when they retire. Give them medical coverage
because they're independent contractors. That's why it doesn't work. So they're not employed. They're independent contractors. A totally different situation, legally different.
Oh, I understand that, but baseball players were independent contractors, and football players.
No, they're not. They're they're contracted to a team. That's not true. They're contracted to a team, so that's not true. In boxing, it's different. They're totally independent contractors. They don't have to act a promoter does not have to act in the best interest of a fighter. He owes them nothing but his purse. I agree with you, Bruce, but there's legalities. There's difference in the legalities. One's a league.
Why can't fighters fight other fighters in different promotions if they're independently?
Because they have what they call promotional agreements, but in the promotional agreement it says you're an independent contractor. So I know what you're saying, but we're coming full circle here, is what it is. I mean, I agree with you, but it's the wording and these contracts.
Because then we can only name about 20 boxes off the top of our heads, but what about like the farm system, the blue collar fighters, the fighters who aren't in the headlines, the guys that are making $30,000 a year? Are they just going to be left by the wayside like the fighters were in the past? Is there any?
Most of those fighters have regular jobs, Bruce. The big time fighters don't have regular jobs. Most of those guys you're talking about have regular jobs. They may work at Walmart. They work in security. I know some of them are police officers. Some of them are firemen. But they do have other jobs.
So the guys at the top don't look at it's not their problem. They just
right. It's sad but true. That's correct. What you just said. That's how they look at it. It's not their problem. Correct.
Shout out to Mo Boxing. Thank you for coming by, man. Andrew Charles, appreciate it. I stopped watching boxing when Tyson Holyfield and Lennox Lewis retired from the sport. Tommy Hearns was one of my all-time favorites, and Marvin Hagler, etc. Well, that's this is what keeps me in boxing too. Right now, it's a shit show. Let's face it. I mean, next week we got one of the biggest fights of in all of boxing happening, but yet it seems like it's been under promoted. Nobody's talking about it, Rick. You think that you think they blew the promotion of this fight, or is it just not that important? Is Canelo Alvarez and
The
Jamel
real
Charlo?
promoter of the show, Al Heyman, doesn't talk to the press. How can you promote anything?
Well, somebody's gonna sell this fight. I don't hear anybody talking about it at all except us here.
Yeah, I know. Sad. You
got any predictions for that fight?
I mean, common sense tells you Canelo, but the other guy's a good athlete. He can punch. He's fast. He's not undersized. He really stretching it down to 51, 54. So he's coming up to a more natural weight. It's going to be a better fight than people think it is. It's not going to be no blowout for Canelo. It's going to be a good spirited fight.
And this is a fight that could blow boxing away. I mean, if Charlo wins this fight, I mean, bro, this is so many possible matches, so many different ways boxing can go. You think Charlo has a good chance of winning this fight?
He's got a possibility. It's a live underdog. Yes, sir. No question about that. Mm-hmm.
And what do you think happens if he does win it?
He'll fight once every 14 months, like all the PBC fighters.
Please don't say that. Mo Boxing, man, shout out to you. I saw Johnny Boy in here. Thanks for coming by, man. I don't want to miss anybody, man, because
nothing's gonna really change, because even if Charlo wins, Canelo's got a rematch clause, so he'll exercise that, and then by the time he fights again, Crawford will be 37, 38 years old. That's how that works. So it's just
it's really not that important of a fight for the general public. Then it's almost like hey, Canelo needs a fight. Charlo's a big name. Let's put him in there and see what happens. Basically,
because he's not going to be able to fight anybody else. Canelo exercised a rematch clause, and then we're still at the same place we were. So then, if Charlo wins that, then he won't fight for another year. So it's a ridiculous thing.
What fight can you compare this to? Because I know a lot of the fights we go back to the fights of the 80s and the 70s, and could you see something like Oscar De La Hoya and Manny Pacquiao with this fight?
No, not like that. This is going to be one of those fights that he's a little more athletic. Charlo, he's more athletic, and that might carry him to victory in this fight. Really might carry him to victory.
What would make this a great fight?
A 12-round split decision in favor of the proper guy who actually won the fight in the ring.
Like maybe something like Mildred Taylor and Julio Cesar Chavez with a clear-cut ending.
Yeah, the second time, not the first time. No question.
Well, no, yeah, the second time was years later. It was so many times.
4 years later.
And that's another thing that's going on today with boxing is rematches. Why do they sign rematch clauses instead of that rematch being in demand where we want to see it? I mean, they're shoving
because if the loser puts up the guy who puts up his title loses the fight, he wants some kind of guarantee of a big money comeback fight to get his title back. That's why.
But who wants to see it though, bro? I mean, how are they gonna? It's a big money. Doesn't the money have to come out?
Bruce, it's as much as it's a mystery to you, it's a mystery to me. How can they possibly sell Spence and Crawford again?
I don't know. The only way I can think of selling it is, like they said, they want to do it in Texas. They want to make Bud Crawford the bad guy.
Well, they can do that as much as they want. That it's not going to sell on pay-per-view.
Well, I personally think pay-per-view is a thing of the past. It's like the payphone. I think that as time goes by, it's just going to be fewer and far between. I know it's not even, we see a Mario Barrios fight. It sells 150,000 pay-per-views, but yet there's 1 million eyeballs that are watching that fight. You know.
Yep.
So there's got to be a new way to sell boxing. Does boxing look far ahead like that, or are they just playing it by the way?
It's not boxing; it's technology, and boxing will use whatever's technology is out there.
Well, with the age of the internet, pay-per-view is, to me, I think it's really going to be a thing of the past, man. I think boxing should go back to closed circuit theaters, like another fight we just had was the Marciano anniversary of Marciano and Walcott, and they only had 50 theaters that was shown in. It was through phone lines back in the day. But to me, if it's a big fight, I'll go out. I'll take the old lady out, have dinner, go to a theater and watch a closed circuit. I think that might spice boxing up again, make it more of an event-oriented sport instead of just something where, the main event's not starting till midnight. You think I'm going to have 10 drunks in my house that are splitting the bill with me, and it's just not pleasurable anymore. I really think that they have to find a new format for it. Because
I think you're right too.
So you have any foresight for that?
I don't. I'm not that good on technology, so they got to do something. They got to do something. What they do, I don't know, but it's pretty bad the way it is.
Yeah, it seems like they're raising the prices higher and higher and getting less and less subscriptions.
Yep.
So.
Yep. You're right about that, Bruce.
Champ Ross, thanks for coming by, man. Talking to my friend Rick Glaser, man, an insider in boxing, man. It's Sunday night. We're winding down. We just had a fun weekend of boxing. Now we're discussing the state of boxing, and it's pretty cut and simple. There's not really a lot that we can say that they can improve on in boxing. I don't know where it can possibly come from. I think boxing is going to pretty much stay what it is in my lifetime. I can't see anything that we can do to make it more fan friendly. Olympics just not being covered like they used to be. There's no more Sugar Ray Leonard with Chevrolet, apple pie, All America. We're not seeing fighters brought up like that anymore. It's a crazy business, and man, I don't want to sound like a bitter old man, bro, but I don't feel as optimistic as I did an hour ago, bro.
Well, I don't either. So you're not alone.
Well, what do we have to look forward to? Is there anything you're looking forward to in boxing that's coming up? Besides the Tyson and the Ngannou fight.
I'm looking forward to. October 21st on DAZN. Nestor Rocha, Alexis Rocha versus Giovanni Santaleone from the Kia Forum in Englewood, California, which is the old Great Western Forum. And it's on DAZN. I'm looking forward to Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez, December, I believe, 16th on DAZN. It's the WBC IBF World Flyweight unification fight. Both undefeated. Sonny's from the UK, from England, and the other kids from Texas, San Antonio, and they're fighting in Phoenix, and it's going to be a hell of a fight. It's in boxing, it doesn't matter what the fighters weigh, as long as they weigh the same amount. There's a weight class. That's all there is to it.
Somebody has a question in there. Respectfully, they want to know how you became relevant in boxing.
I didn't say I did.
Well,
no. How did I become relevant? I got a little lucky. My mentors were Mike Akery, Hall of Famer Bruce Trampler, Don King, obviously a Hall of Famer, Don Majeski should be in the Hall of Fame, and they became my mentors. And I kept, siphoning knowledge from them and asking me the right questions. They kept introducing me to the right people, and I don't know, it just happened to happen overnight between 91 and 94. It just I started January 1st of 91, and by the time 93, 94 came around, I was very relevant, and I have been since then. Just people tend to listen to me. They pay me for my opinions, advising them. My clients range from corporate America, throughout the world, TV networks, streaming apps, casinos, promoters, boxing managers, the occasional fighter, attorneys, like I said, casinos, and this is what I do. This is how I make my living. I render advice, I broker deals every day, and I settle disputes, and I put the pieces back together after they fall apart. So this is what I do every day.
I'll tell you, everybody on here wishes they could make a living doing what we love to, what is our passion. So man, God for that, bro. Hey, we got a question from Peter Von Ox. He wants to know if you think the Chinese would put the money up for a Fury Zhang fight in Beijing.
I don't see why they. I don't think Fury, but Usyk. I think they are, because I don't think Fury's going to fight him. Yeah, I think they will. Yes. Yeah, no reason why they wouldn't. They got the money, and it would be a big thing over there.
It would be a big thing throughout the world. The
right.
heavyweight championship fight from China.
Right.
I think they talked about Mike Weaver fighting in China years ago, but it never materialized.
Right.
Johnny's Combat wants a question for you. He wants to know what you think of Beterbiev versus Callum Smith.
I think Callum Smith's very live in the fight. The other guy will be like 39 years old, injury prone by the time the fight takes place. He'll be inactive. And Callum Smith's got a good jab, comes back with a good straight right hand. He's tall, lean, and good on his feet. And I think he's got a real chance to win the fight.
Cool, man. Andre Southgate, shout out for coming in here, man. Appreciate it. Toby Bartlett, thanks for stopping by. The Chitlin distributor, thank you for coming by, man. Appreciate you guys coming in here, man. And anybody has any questions, drop them in here. We'll try to ask Rick Glaser. Get an educated opinion here for you, man. I could give you a half-ass opinion. At least this guy's got the experience, he's got the knowledge, he's got the respect in boxing. So ask away out there, man. And let's see, bro. Let's see.
I get more respect from the people in the business than I do on the internet. It's amazing. I get insulted by people every day. They just don't get it, but what are you going to do?
You gotta have thick skin on this internet, bro. They come at you from every direction, and it's something that just doesn't bother me anymore. At first it did, but hey, man, once you step back and take a look at it, everybody's living in glass houses out here. And if you're going to be a beta male about it, you don't belong on YouTube. That's the way I look at it. There's a possibility of millions of people looking at everything you say on here, and you can't unring a bell.
Yeah, that's true.
And I know. Unfortunately, I'm not very careful with what I say. I should think more and speak less. But hey, it is what it is, and let the chips fall where they may. And I try to speak from the heart, and I don't think my heart's too rotten at this stage of the game. Anybody have any questions for Rick, or can I ask him some more questions? Hey, Rick, what do you think of boxing in Australia? My friend Carl at the Crocodile comes on here a lot, man, and Carl Hansen, and he's a homeboy. He loves that Tim Tszyu fighting. He's telling me that there's going to be a Kambosos and Lomachenko fight in Australia.
Well, there's a good chance for Kambosos and Lomachenko to fight in Australia because it's big money. That's the first of all, and second of all, boxing in Australia is very big because they're very national, like ethnocentric over there. They back their own people over there, and Tim Tszyu's a huge draw over there. And he should be. He's exciting to watch. He's a very good fighter. Jason Malone, he's WBO bantamweight champ right now. He's the #1 bantamweight in the world by BoxRec, and WBO champ. And there's a lot of good fighters that have come out of Australia over the years. Tons of them. And it's a great place for boxing. It really is.
Definitely, and the fans over there love it. They, when Haney went over there the first time, it was a national holiday there. I mean, and back in the day, Costa Zoo's father, I mean Costa Zoo himself, and
Yep.
Jeff Fennick. There was some great fighters over there.
Yeah, there was an indigenous world bantamweight champ, Lionel Rose, way back
Yeah,
when too. So there's been a lot of great fighters coming up. Green, Danny Green was WBA super middleweight champ for a while. There's been some real good fighters out of Australia.
Jeff Harding, the light heavyweight champion.
Yep.
I mean, very, very rich there. Thomas from the Bronx wants to know: are you okay with the way Mauricio Sulman is handling the WBC heavyweight title, and why hasn't he stripped Jamal of his title?
Okay, is that too? Okay, ask the second part of the question again.
Okay, the second part was, why hasn't he stripped Jamal of
Okay.
his title?
Well, the first one is the Fury situation. He hasn't named a mandatory. So technically and legally, he cannot strip Tyson Fury until there's a mandatory contender. Because in between your mandatory, you can fight voluntary fights. And that's what he's doing right now by fighting these MMA guys. They're not for the world heavyweight title. It's just, I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with the Jermell Charlo thing being inactive for about, I don't know, it's been 800 days or whatever it's been. I have a real problem with that. I think they should just strip his ass, okay, and then make Carlos Adames the champ. And then when he comes back, wants to fight, if he wants to fight at 60, then it's a 50-50 purse bid split, not a 75-25 in favor of the champ or anything like that. Make it 50-50, but strip his ass. Man hasn't fought in 2 years. I mean, fucking ridiculous.
Well, isn't this the way that the organizations make their money, from sanctioning fees?
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
I have no idea. I have no idea why it's being done. It makes no fucking sense to me.
Especially at the top in the heavyweight division. I mean, that's where the
Well, like I said, they haven't named a mandatory. So if they were supposed to do Andy Ruiz and Wilder and a WBC eliminator, that fell apart. Okay, so you have a situation where, okay, that fell apart. Then name another one. Well, it's just sitting there. So Tyson Fury's not doing anything wrong. He's just exercising his legalities by doing what he wants to do. So that's what's really happening here. I don't have that much of a problem with that. I do have a problem with the middleweight situation. That's a real problem for me mentally.
Does Mauricio really have any power, or is he just a figurehead?
No, he's the power. He is the power.
And he doesn't seem to throw his weight around if he has any.
He does occasionally, but he's not really that. He's not a heavy-handed guy. He's really not. He's the kind of guy, put it this way to you, he's the kind of guy you'd rather take to dinner with than fight a war with.
And the boxing scholar mentions that Tyson Fury has no intention on unifying, so why shouldn't he be stripped?
That's his opinion. That's his opinion. So we'll see. That he may be right, but that's just his opinion. We'll see.
And the demand for mandatories, the fighters it doesn't seem to wield any power. If you told Tyson Fury and Andy Ruiz, if you told Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz it's mandatory that they fight each other, back in the day.
No. It's not mandatory they fight each other. No. They create an eliminator. Now, if they would have fought, okay, and the winner is the mandatory for Fury, Fury has to fight that guy or get stripped. So, just because they couldn't get the eliminator together doesn't mean that the mandatory is the most powerful position in boxing besides being the champ. So I don't agree with that, Bruce, but that's the way it is.
Man, it just seems like boxing's going backwards instead of forward. It really does.
Well, it is in certain ways because nobody can't get their shit together. The fighters overprice themselves when they don't want to fight anybody. When they don't want to fight a particular fighter, they say, okay, I want 10 million. Well, there's not 10 million available. It's 3 million. Okay, I want 10 million. That's how it works.
Is it possible boxing could go bankrupt? Could it bankrupt itself?
No, it's been around too long. It's worldwide. It's too big. No.
But it's like the inmates are running the asylum. That's what.
That's true. That may be true, but the when it comes down to it, the networks are drawing out the money to the promoters. We'll see what happens. You know, these fighters cause their own problems too. That's the other issue. They overprice themselves, and I don't want to fight this guy. He talked bad about me, and he dated my sister, and he dates my sister. He can come up with all kinds of lame excuses.
Compared to other sports where you have to compete to get on, it just seems like, I don't know, boxing's in a real sad state right now. The more
not that bad a state. There's multi-million-dollar fights happening every weekend, so it's not that bad.
Well, I'm looking at the top. I think the titles should be at least defended regularly. Never mind unified or totally undisputed. But it's just not happening. The fighters just have no incentive, because somebody mentioned out there they used to cater to people that buy tickets. That was a long time ago.
Right. That's true. I agree with that. And it's a shame, but that's what's happened.
Now, I put a picture up last week. It had Ezra Charles. It had Jake LaMotta, Sugar Ray Robinson, Carlos Ortiz, Willie Pep. The bodies on the fighters of those days. Those were the greatest that I'm talking about. But they didn't look anything like the fighters look today.
In what way?
The muscles, the fighters today look more like bodybuilders than the boxers of that.
Well, that's because times have changed, and there's more equipment, and there's more stuff, supplements to keep you going and be able to train harder and stuff like that. There's a lot of reasons for that, Bruce. Tons of them.
But do you think that look is necessary? I don't know, man.
No, I don't. But people want to look. Yeah, people today want to look sharp for some fucking woman because they jump around from woman to woman. Back in those days, years ago, a guy could look good for his wife, and that was it. And then he was with her forever. But those times have changed too. Everything changes.
Yeah, that's mate. That's why I feel like I do, because when I grew up, they gave us so much, so many great fights, and the super fights were events where we got together, we went out, we put on our best clothes, and it's fallen so much from those days. I think I need a jolt of reality to get back into coming back.
Bruce, it's not your fault. It's everything in this world today. I mean, listen, when was the last time you drove down the street and there was a little community and you saw kids playing wiffle ball in the street? You saw people playing street hockey, touch football. They don't do that anymore. They go to home, they get a 2 liter of Pepsi, and the next, a 20-ounce thing of Pepsi, Doritos, and they're playing on their computer until their mother calls them for fucking dinner. And then as soon as they don't even say goodbye when they finish their dinner, they just run back to the computer. The mother turns around and starts doing the dishes. She turns around, the kid's gone. He's upstairs on the computer again. It's a different world today. Everything's different today. I mean, I remember, I'm 65. I remember the days when you wanted to ask a girl out, You had to ask her. You had to go home and ask her parents. You had to get a big formal sit down, and you had to ask the parents permission. If the father and mother said no, it was no. Okay, I mean, I remember the days you dated a girl, you got invited over on a Sunday for pasta. And if you were like me and you were Jewish, they looked at you like you had fucking antlers on your head. Like, what were you doing here? You know what I'm saying? But things have changed. Did I think 30 years ago that I was going to marry a black woman? No, things change. That's all there is to it.
Yep, they sure do, man. They sure do. And I think a lot of it has to do with the family unit. I mean, there's just no respect. There's so many single parent households. Kids growing up without any male father figure.
100%. Listen, let me run this by you. You're a sharp guy mentally. You come from an Italian American area in the Providence area, right? You used to
Yes, sir.
go to a restaurant. They had a fucking maitre d, and he was all dressed up, and he seated you, and he knew you on a first name basis. And if it was a new bartender, he'd introduce you to the bartender, your father and mother, and everybody would know each other. Today, you walk in, they got a little fat broad at the front desk that says, "Hey, how many are you?" Whole world's different today.
Yeah, it is, man. There's only about maybe a half dozen of those old style steakhouses I think left in the country where they know you by name and take you by the arm and take you into the
Exactly. I mean, it's a
it,
different world today.
boxing.
I remember going to Italian restaurants, and the owner would say to me, "Rick, are you hungry today?" I said, "Yeah, forget 3 meatballs. I'm giving you 6 meatballs." Fucking today, you're lucky if you get 2 meatballs, let alone 3, let alone 6.
Yes, sir, man. I grew up in the restaurant industry. My family owned one, and so when it was like a busman's holiday, when we had a day off, what do we do? Go to another restaurant, and it was.
Right.
I mean, there's the same thing with boxing. People had much more pride in fight. Boxers had more pride in their careers.
40 years ago, fighters never went down with body shots. Today, they go down and out with body shots. And there's reason for that because they only get back in the gym today when they have a contract for a fight. They don't get in the gym just because they're supposed to be there. So they spend too much time trying to lose weight instead of trying to get in shape. Instead of getting in better shape, it's always trying to lose weight. So this is causing all kinds of problems, and people don't realize it. That's why there's so many fighters are overweight. They miss weight. It's just a mess.
The well, a lot of people are saying that the reason that they take a lot of time between their fights is because the cycling off drugs. Do you think that has anything to do with it? You think there's that much of a? You think drugs are that widespread in boxing? I'm talking about steroids.
No, I don't. That's bullshit. They get too much. They demand too much money for the fights, and they demand too much money in fights, and they're getting it. They don't have to fight as often as they used to. That's what the problem is.
Why do you think everybody's accusing all these fighters of being on steroids now? It's like everybody's pointing fingers.
There are a lot of fighters that are on steroids. Don't get me wrong, Bruce. I'm not saying they're on, but that's not the reason they're only fighting once every four. That certain fighters are fighting once a year. Certain fighters are fighting, maximum of twice a year, where it used to be 3-4 times a year. I mean, 1997. Oscar De La Hoya was in 5 world title fights in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So, just a different world.
If fighters are getting away with this today, do you think they're going to get away with it more in the future? You think it's going to deteriorate even more than it is now? Because hey, man, if I had a job and a no-show job, that would be beautiful. If I could collect my check every week, but that's just not realistic. But that seems like
in truth. If new people came in, let's say if I was running a TV network, okay, I would say, okay, this guy's going to fight twice a year as world champ. This guy's fighting 3 times a year. That guy's fighting 2 times a year. That guy's not fighting at all. And if the fighter don't want to fight 3 times a year, you don't put him on at all. That's all there is to it. Because you can't market the guy and build him up if he's only fighting once a year. That's why.
Do you see yourself getting into a position where you can put demand on improve boxing by making
no, I'm capped out where I am. I'm 65 years old, and I'm not saying I'm winding down, but I'm happy with the position I have in boxing. I've got a meeting in October out in LA with a guy who wants me to do some TV work. Our TV network purchased some fights for them, overseas fights to be shown in America. I'm going to sit down and have meet with him, have dinner with him, talk about these things, and maybe I'll add that to my repertoire, what I'm doing now. But I'm not in that kind of position, nor do I want to be. I am exactly where I want to be in boxing.
Like Larry Merchant said, if I was 30 years younger.
Well,
well, I mean, it's a huge task. But can you imagine if boxing was straightened out? If there was an actual figurehead.
If I was asked to be on a let's say 5, 6, 7 person panel on how to fix boxing, I would participate in that. But I'm not. These guys. I'm not a power broker. My business is that I'm a 24/7, 365 worldwide provider of quality supplemental services to boxing business. And, the power brokers need to all sit down and work it out where everybody's fighters fight each other and present the best fights to the public. The way it is right now, it sucks.
Definitely. Now I'm going to change the subject for a second. Now you're on one of the committees in the Hall of Fame. Is that the International Boxing Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I'm not on the committee. I'm an elector.
So explain that to me, please.
I'm a voting member. I vote.
So you vote.
In other words, when the ballots come out, I vote. Yes.
Now, a lot of people have criticisms on who's in the Hall of Fame, who should be in the Hall of Fame. How do you see it? You're just a single vote. And how many votes are there, by the way?
I believe 240.
240. Wow. And there's some people are saying, there's so many fighters that retire and want to get in there, but then there's the fighters that were passed over, and people saying that they'll get it on the next ballot. Do you think there's like a real bottleneck there? Should
I've heard a lot of complaints that from up your area, Marilyn Starling should be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, I just talked to Marilyn.
Well, let me give you my opinion. Okay, it took Donald Curry 9 years to get in his 9th year. He was on the ballot. He got in the Hall of Fame. He is a unified world. I'm sorry. He was unified world welterweight champ. Okay, welterweight champ. He was junior middleweight champ. He beat Marilyn Starling both times they fought. It took him 9 years to get in. Okay, but let alone that Marilyn Starling should be at, it's very far-fetched. Vinny Pazienza, because of extenuating circumstances, because he fought everybody, because of the fact he got injured, badly injured, he was never supposed to walk again, let alone he won the world title, junior middleweight title after that. I would say that I voted for Vinny this past year. He didn't get in. I mean, I think Vinny is more a reciprocate of a Hall of Famer than Marilyn Starling is, to be perfectly frank with you.
I know them both, man. In fact, I was on a 3-way call last week with Marlon and Donald Curry, and man, to hear those two go back and forth, dude, it's classic stuff.
Yep.
But yep. Vinny's a goomba from Rhode Island, man. He'll go up to Federal Hill and show you where to eat, show you where they.
I know.
Show you where they can bring you downstairs, and they may read about you in another 6 months, maybe.
Yep, we know.
But yeah, man. Now, how serious you take that responsibility? That seems like a great responsibility.
I take it very seriously. When I send letters out, email letters or regular letters, on the bottom left-hand corner, it says New York State Boxing Hall of Fame inductee, which I am, and it says International Hall of Fame elector, boxing Hall of Fame elector on there. So I take it very seriously. I take great pride in my vote, and I don't. Luckily, I don't have to do a lot of research because I'm only unlike other people that have a vote. I only vote in the following categories: modern boxing, which is the modern fighters. I vote in the category of non-participants, which are the managers and the trainers and everybody else, and then the observers, which are people like the writers and the playwrights and all that stuff. Now, there was a big scandal. There was a big scandal caused by stupidity and people on the internet, and I'll tell you what that was.
I think I know what it's going to be. Go ahead.
Sylvester Stallone. Yeah. They acted like he was in as Rocky in the Hall of Fame. No, he got in as Sylvester Stallone got in as an observer for being the producer and writer of the Rocky series. And people say, "Oh no, he got in. He's in as a fighter, a fake fighter." I said, "No, wrong category."
Do you know how much Rocky did for boxing? The Rocky movie.
Don't I know that?
You remember every kid and their brother was running after boxers when they were doing road work, and everybody wanted to be Rocky, man. Everybody back.
Well, basically, what I'm saying to you, basically speaking, is that you're absolutely 100% correct. But everybody says, "Oh, look, they put him in." I mean, I've even had intelligent people say that to me. I say, "Schmuck." I says he's not in as a fighter as Rocky. He's in as the producer, a writer, and director. Okay, and they don't as an observer.
Non-participant category. Don't you get it?
No, I'm not participant. He's in the observer category.
Observer category. Okay, man.
Yes, it's even less. It's even less. Right.
I've been watching it since the inaugural. Was it 1991 where they had their first inauguration there, and right. I didn't know there was the observer category and the non-participant.
Yeah. Another thing is like people say to me, "Well, Teddy Ellis is in as a trainer, and Harry Wiley's not in." I says, "Not." I says, "Not so." I called the guy that said that. Not so. I says, "No, he's in as an observer for his work at ESPN as an announcer, as a broadcaster. He's not in as a trainer, Teddy Atlas. He's in as a broadcaster." I mean, this happens all the time with people. I mean, it's nuts. It really is crazy.
Yeah. No, it's intricate. It's complex, and but I mean, just getting in that to me, that's the Mecca. I've never been there. I was going to go back in the 90s when I was more mobile, but I definitely, before I die, I want to go see the hallowed halls of the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
In fact, this weekend I wanted to go down to Atlantic City. They're doing the Atlantic City Hall of Fame inductions, and I really dig the state Hall of Fames because everybody can't be inducted into the big boy. They got the Atlantic City.
I'm in the New York State Boxing Hall of Fame, and hopefully I'll be in Canastota someday. As an inductee. Hopefully, never know.
Question for Rick: has Coach John Brown ever been up for induction?
You, the guy from the Midwest?
I don't know.
Is he talking about the guy from the Midwest? The answer is no.
And Thomas from the Bronx, he interviewed Randy Gordon last night. I mean, this is a obvious question. He wants to know if you know Randy Gordon. Of course you do, but I'll elaborate on that. And Randy Gordon's a cool guy as far as I'm concerned. What do you think of him, brother?
Fabulous guy. One of my favorite guys. He's so enthusiastic. He's lovable. He's just he'll stick his beak out there at times when he stand up for what's right and what's wrong. And I love the guy. I was one of the first guys I met in boxing. May of 1991. I met him. I remember the day I met him, May 28th, 1991. And we laugh about it to this day. And I love Randy. So he voted for me for the New York State Boxing Hall of Fame. He's on the induction committee, and that's the story there. So
Yeah, I was introduced to him in the '80s, reading articles in Ring magazine and Knockout when he was the editor in Ring. But he used to. Oh, I just lost Rick Glaser. I'm sure I'll be back in a sec, man. Maybe my hour with him wore out, but we'll see if he comes back, or we can end this very cool discussion. I thought it was cool. There he comes. He's back again. There we go.
sorry about that. I don't know what happened. It just disappeared on me.
I'm used to it. Don't worry about it, man.
Mhm.
I'm used to getting bailed out on in the middle of an interview. What were we saying? We're talking about
Yeah,
different.
Randy's a real cool guy. There's no Randy Gordy's a real good guy. One of my favorites.
Yeah, real articulate. I used to love his articles. Very concise, very easy to read. And when I saw that he was the New York State Athletic Commissioner, man, that was huge. It kind of does you good to see a real person who you can relate to, who knows boxing, who loves it with all his heart. Is the state commissioner. That's a great thing.
Yep.
But anyway, bro, I've had you for an hour, man. I appreciate the hell out of it, bro. Anything you want to let these people know where they can find you?
Yeah, on Twitter at Real Rick Glaser 1. I'm a verified account. I got about 8,300 followers, and hit me up. I answer all boxing questions and stuff, and always available. Okay, my website's glazerboxing.com, GLASER boxing.com, and my phone number, my email address is listed on it. Anyone needs to get a hold of me for any boxing purposes, you let me know. If I can help you out. Okay? In the meantime, Bruce, it's been a real pleasure. And I'll see you here in coming weeks, okay?
Absolutely, my friend. God love you, man. Peace.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Hey, man, that's I put my music back on now that he's gone, because I didn't want. Rick didn't like the music in the background. I can see it because I don't have a soundboard or anything. I can't really get the volume to the right volume. I tend to drown other people. But I thank anybody that came in here. LaRon, man, thanks, bro. Just Frank, Mo Boxing, my brother. Thomas from the Bronx, MMA. Thank you, brother. Toby, my man Toby. The Med Gas guy. I'm kind of the Med Gas guy. I didn't do any. I abstained when Rick was on here, but I got the Green Dragon. I got a nice fresh bottle that I made a couple of days ago. I made a nice batch of this, man. This is the in fact, I'm digging on some jazz now. The Saul Dutch Quintet. We're playing right now at Small's Jazz Club in Greenwich Village, New York. And that's featuring Saul Dutch on the baritone sax, Noel Haplin on the trumpet, Caitlin Cardello on the piano, Louis Leger on the bass, and Hank Allen Barfield on the drums. And get back on that. There we go, man. Saul Dutch on that baritone sax. I mean, that is a rich instrument, very resonant, very resonating, very cool jazz. I do another hit here. Hey, Mo Boxing, thanks, brother. The always controversial Rick Glaser. You can agree with him or disagree with him, but I give him a platform because he knows what he's doing. He's behind the scenes man, and he's got a lot of information that I have. And hey, I've met the guy. Like I said, I met him I don't know, a few months back. And I got no problem with him. I think he's a real nice dude. I'm very grateful to have him come on here and talk to us. We have to be quiet for. I'll tell you, have John Brown give me a call, Bones. My email is available on my webpage. You can find it on there. Have him give me a call if he wants to speak on here. I'll be glad to interview him. I don't know who he is, but there's a lot I don't know about boxing. I learn more and more every day listening to you cats out there. And yeah, Mo, I don't think he'd appreciate going to the tavern. See, I gotta get the sublingual effects. The longer I leave this in under my tongue, the better my buzz make will be. B&N Boxing. I had to see you light up the Toka too. Oh, bro, listen, you want to see something funny? Let me see if I can bring this up here. Let me see if I can find it. This happened yesterday with the right at the time of the Joe Joyce knockout. Let's see if I can bring it up, man. Because somebody pointed out to me. You know, I had the Toka 2 up yesterday. Let me see. In fact, they did such a good job. They put it right on here. Let me see if I can. I know I can do this. I'm gonna bring this up. Something like that. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. Here we go. We're gonna have it. This is funny. Check this out. This was at the time of the knockout. Joyce is down 10 stars. Oh, the fight's over. The fight is over. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Joe Joyce didn't, Steve Gray stopped it. Joe Joyce got up. It was at the 5th round. Did El Pinche call that one or what? Yeah, see, bro. So I absolutely hit that Toka too. But I don't do a lot of the combustion now. I get a real good buzz with this Green Dragon tincture. I don't get the harshness on the lungs. It's absolutely the way to go. But yesterday I was watching the fight. I did a live. As a matter of fact, I got like 660 views on the fucking thing. So I guess people dug the watching that fight with me. BruceGas Boxing Jazzamo, you said, oh wow, like you were gonna cry because you half missed it. Well, I usually wait for the round to be over before I do my hit, before I do the toke. I'll tell you, Thomas, it was like whoa, because that was a dramatic knockout. Zhang was touching Joe Joyce. He was giving him a good beating, man. But as far as the dramatic knockout, that one punch, that right hook, he went downstairs with a straight left to the body, almost brought him up, and then boom, the right hook right on the fucking jaw. Joe Joyce has never been off his feet. Never saw him hurt like that before. Never been off his feet. The Green Dragon tincture, I make that myself, MMA for fun. I have this machine, it's called a Magical Butter. You can look it up, you can Google it and buy it. And what you do is you decarbolize your reefer. You mix it with very, very strong grain alcohol. You distill it for, I think it's about 12 hours. My wife does it early in the morning. And anyway, it's a homemade product, and it's definitely what I've been a weed smoker since 1969. I've taken a few breaks here and there, but nothing major. I love reefer. See, in my life, it's God, family, music, reefer, and boxing. You know, there are some things that are more important than boxing. And with music, I like all different genres. But yeah, man, Zhang, that added weight, slow and sluggish. I think that beating that he got 5 months earlier was still fresh on his mind. That eye did not look completely healed. I mean, even his face was even busted up yesterday after that short fight. But it was it was very entertaining, and it kind of opens boxing wide up again, man. It makes that heavyweight division more vile. I mean, we want to see Zhang get the big break now. If Tyson Fury is not going to fight Alexander Usyk, because what we want absolutely is an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And it's real easy to do. You've got two guys right now that can make a ton of money. All they have to do is get in the ring with each other. You have promotional companies who have entire countries that will bankrupt themselves to get these guys in there in the ring. But for some reason, it's not happening. You know, we can point all the fingers we want. I hope this music isn't too loud, but I love these avant-garde jam sessions, man. This sounds like Ornette Coleman, maybe Eric Dolphy in there. I mean, real bizarre, very multi-patterned, very avant-garde jazz. And oh yeah, man, I wish I was there. That's going on live right now. If I could get in, if we had something like they used to have on Star Trek there, what do they call those machines, man? Damn, see, I can't even think of the name. I watched it on and off for a million years, but you get in the, not the phaser. Why do I keep speaking of phaser? But anyway, you get the transporter. You get transport those molecules to another place like real quick. That's what we need, man. That's what should be invented. A transporter, so we can get from point A to point B. Because man, like I said, I want to go to Atlantic City this weekend to the Hall of Fame, but it's hard to do at this stage of the game. I don't have the transportation I don't have the best car in the world, and aside from that, if I could get a ride from door to door, that would be cool. But driving driving there is fucking, that's an 8-hour ride, man. My man Mad Chad is the guy for that, but he doesn't have the car to do it right now either. So I'm gonna have to put that one off. But we got a great weekend of boxing, so all is not lost. Let me do one more blast here. It's kind of weird doing that and keeping your mouth shut, because see, I went to a broadcasting school, oh God, years and years back in the 70s. I got an associate's degree. This was called Graham Junior College, Cambridge School of Broadcasting in Boston, Massachusetts. But the thing they teach you is you don't want dead air when you're doing a broadcast. So I kind of learned to always be talking when I was online. And when I got to do a shot of my green dragon, I got to shut the mouth for 30 seconds. If I spoke, I'd have the green stuff all over the freaking screen. But Mo, hey, thanks, bro. 1,000 subs. That was cool, man. I gotta give that to my buddy Skywalker, because Skywalker told me to share a live with him. He said we're gonna get all kind of people coming to it. And bro, I took my stream down because I didn't want to keep it up, because it was a copywritten thing. I think, I'm not sure, but But dude, I had like 4,000 people in my room watching it at one time. And I picked up, I got over the 1,000 subs that I've been trying to get for 2 years. And man, you know, life is good, bro. You see that guy spit on Edwards last night? I watched that. I didn't see him spit on him, bro. He did that. That was Bam Rodriguez. Bam Rodriguez, I think, is it Rodriguez or Rodriguez? Rodriguez. But no, you know what? I saw how small they are, man. They're so small. But that's flyweight boxing. Just Frank, I'm gonna cut out myself in a minute, bro. I'm gonna wind it down. I mean, I had that interview with Rick Glaser. I don't even call it an interview. Like I said, I don't write any questions down. Sometimes I think, man, I got to keep this going. I got to think of something to say, and you know, just keep it rolling off the tongue. We have this one common love, and that goes for everybody out here that's in this YouTube boxing community, and that's just a love for boxing. And if I'm trolling around and I see boxing talk, I go there. Sometimes I stay there. Sometimes I get in there and they know who I am, man. You know, they Mo Boxing, man. Peace to you, my brother. Thanks for coming by. You know, sometimes I just go in a place the first time and I get moderated in there, and it's like old homecoming week. But this is the brotherhood we have on YouTube, man. So it's a real cool thing, man. Yeah, bro, that's the way I do it, Thomas. I don't write anything down. I don't have anything in front of me like that. I should, because sometimes I get off the interview and I say, oh shit, I should have asked him this, I should have asked him that, but you know, I get the good buzz on, so it doesn't really matter. I don't really care if I miss anything. And Rick's a cool guy. You know, he comes on a lot of different people's shows, and you know, he has a very, very busy schedule, but he makes time for it. He doesn't have his own channel, but he comes on different channels. Doesn't even think about, some people they oh, how much you give me, doesn't even think about anything like that. He just likes to come on and talk boxing. But anyway, man, maybe I'll go listen to some of this jazz when I get off here. But before I do that, you know, I have to make sure I have something on here from my boy 150.
That's right, from my boy. Where you at? Yeah, been here rapping boys out here telling favors. I'm the hardest young nigga, I ain't signed to no label. Hey, BruceGas put no fights on the table. Calling that boxing since Kane versus Abel. Smoking so much gas, you would think that shit was fake. All the people champion like Muhammad Ali. Shut up, BruceGas, one day we gon' meet. Yeah, we gon' blow it down, we gon' smoke hella weed. Yeah, we gon' blow it down, take it. Out the turbo too, slipping hella shots, feel like Tyson with the people. Little Glock on my side, but it hit just like it's a cruise. Shut up, man, chat real shit, that's my fucking dude. We always cooking on the panel. Strapped to my side, I ain't talking about no sample. Bruce passed me the blunt, I'ma light it like a candle. Ayy, non-stop bars, man, I always spit flames. Feel like BruceGas always got a different strain. Bitch, you ain't like me, you could never feel my pain. You win and you lose, well, this a fight game. Don't beef on the net and the shit won't change. Said that on the stream, gotta do it for the game. Said that on the stream, gotta do it for the chat. I ain't undisputed. Yeah, hold on, I ain't undisputed, but I want all the straps.
Thank you so much for coming by, man. Peace.